Back-to-back box openings. I'm not mad at it. At least this one's on time. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for taking the time to click on the video today. Like the intro said, back-to-back box opening. The June 6th stack arrived right on time. Actually, I got here about 5 days ago, but I've been fishing a tournament and a bunch of different things, especially with work. So I'm getting around to opening it now. Not going to wait too long to rip into this thing, but you know, like I said in the last video, they do a lot of baits around this time of year that are keyed towards going after foraging and hungry bass. So I'm looking forward to seeing what's inside the bag. So we're going to start it off right away. I know there's a thing of soft plastics in here because there's generally always a thing of soft plastics in here. So I'll reach around and see if I can find those. There they are. The Ned Fry, the 4.66 cents Ned Fry. Now, I know a lot of guys who swear by the Ned, and I know a lot of guys that won't tie a Ned on to save their lives. I live near the St. Lawrence River. A lot of smallies there, so inevitably in times I'm going to have to tie on a Ned because that's going to be the only thing that they want to eat. This is in the black and blue flake, which is actually really nice. Quit zooming in on my face. There, maybe here. There we go. So the black and blue flake. And this has a little tapered tail, and you can trim this to any length that you're going to want to need it for. I generally take about 1/3 off, so I fish with the bottom 2/3. But I know some people that'll throw the whole thing on, depending on the size of the bite they're going for and the size of the forage. So what else do we got? We got a jig, and it is the Axel Swim Jig. So this is going to be a weedless option for the swim jigs. In my last video, you saw the Axel Hybrid Jig, that big 1 ounce boat anchor of a jig that they sent. This is the swim jig version in the Axel series. And I'll pull her out here. And this is in the Candy Bluegill. It looks like a Candy Bluegill. Am I right? Nope, it's Bluegill Fire. So the Bluegill Fire, just a nice green pumpkin, orange on the belly, orange and white on the belly, a little bit of flake in there. And then, as I showed in the last video, the Axel series has a screw lock bait keeper and swinging hook. So the bait keeper is swinging and the hook is swinging. So that means you can screw your trailer on and then transpose the hook tip straight into the bait, which essentially makes this a weedless option. So if you're fishing really thick, heavy cover, something like this is just absolutely essential, because I prefer to be casting for fish than picking weeds out of my baits every second cast. So having the Axels always in my tackle box for those situations where I know I'm going to be fishing heavy cover. And around this time, when the fish have been staged up into the weeds, low-lying weeds and stuff like that, the Axel is actually a really good option to have. So that way you can target those fish without having to resort to like just a plain old Texas rig and stuff like that. It gives you something of a little more of a presentation to it that matches the more natural bait fish in the area. And what else have we got? We got the Quake 70. The Quake 70, and this is in Clayton's Shiner. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's a story behind Clayton Shiner. Now, I'm not entirely sure what it is, but I believe it was a young lad that hand-painted the design of this bait. So this is the Quake 70. These are your great all-around lipless cranks. And I love the fact that it's got those blood specks on it, as well as the black and silver. So this is going to make for a really natural bait presentation, especially a wounded bait presentation. And they are very, very loud. And again, black nickel hooks. You never have to change out the hardware. Really good staple to have. I don't have the Clayton Shiners, so this is actually a nice little addition to my Quake collection, which, if any of you know about my collection, it is pretty extensive. But moving on, I was actually going to purchase a few more of these because I wanted something a little smaller. And this is the Crush Mini 25 MD. MD standing for Medium Diver. And this is in the Baby Crappie color, which is an excellent, excellent color scheme for up here. As you know, we have an abundance of crappie up here, so they tend to be one of the more target species for the bass. Now this dives 4 to 7 feet despite its small size, and that's just a beautiful, beautiful color.
They've done studies, you know. 60% of the time, it works every time.
That doesn't make sense.
Now this is the nice thing about the Crush Mini series is you can throw these cranks on a bait casting setup, a BFS setup, or even a spinning setup. So you don't have to have a bait caster to go out and do some deeper cranking. So the Crush Mini is absolutely ideal. If you wanted to go up a size in this, I would suggest, and you're using lighter tackle like a spinning rod or anything like that, I would suggest the Curve 55. It has the smaller body with the larger bill too as well, so that's a good option. The Crush XR. This is the Crush XR. Oh, it's upside down. The Crush 100 XR, so it's the 100 size Crush series, and the XR is extra rattle. These things are super, super loud. This is in the Black Magic color, which in my next video you're going to see put to use, because I'm going to be doing a night fishing video, and generally at night you throw the darkest baits that you have. This is for your really low light conditions, your really dark and dirty water, where you need to make a hard contrast on the between the bait and its surroundings. This gives the bass a little more to zone in on in those low light or no light conditions. And that extra rattle I was talking about, that's going to help draw the fish into as well, just using the auditory cues. This is a 4 to 6 foot diver, good wobble action, square bill, so you're going to want to be banging this around off of cover and off of rocks and off of logs and God knows what else. Remember, with a square bill, the general rule, no contact, no bite. So make sure you're throwing that where you need to throw it. And speaking of Black Magic, here's one I may actually tie on to my night fishing trip. That is the Catwalk. This is the Catwalk. This is one of 6 Sense offerings for a spook type bait. So this is your walk the dog pencil bait. Nice and big. Holographic eyes in all of the Black Magic series. Black with the blue details. And again with the walking. But the nice thing about the Catwalk is if you look dead on, you notice it has a keel. It has a keel-shaped body. So this allows it to really carve through that water when you're working it. And add all of that, you got a really heavy knocker in there to really draw the fish up off the bottom. Let them see the silhouette on the top of the water, and then hang on for dear life, because when a fish commits to the Catwalk, It is something incredible. In a couple of my past videos, I've got a couple really big topwater blow-ups on the catwalk in the Spanish bone color. But this in low light and dark water, this is going to be an absolute killer, and I may very well be tying that on. Do we have anything else? We have one more. Oh, and speaking of that low profile, I said the alternative to this was the Crush 55. Looky there. There's your Crush 55 right there. This is in the Gravel Craw color. I like the craw colors in the cranks. They just offer a little bit of a visual different visual presentation than your standard paint jobs, and this one is just absolutely gorgeous. So that's got your olive green tapering off to that burgundy point at the tail, bronze back that fades into that green, and then it goes into a lighter yellowy chartreuse on the bottom, but it's not an obnoxious chartreuse. It's just a very, very simple, again, 3D eyes molded in gill plates, all of that fun stuff on the that you get on the bigger cranks, but all put into this little small package. And the great thing about the body shape on this is my nickname for these is warble warts, because they really shake from side to side and they do a semi-roll. These things just warble all over the place, and it really draws a really good bite. Not the last tournament I was in, but the previous tournament, 2 of my fish I actually got on the Curve 55 in a craw color. Wasn't this one, it was more of a greeny one, but that is just awesome. And these ones go to 9 feet. So you can really get down there with your spinning setup. You know, throw it on 15-pound fluorocarbon. Let it do 12 to 15-pound fluorocarbon. If you want it to go deeper, you can lighten your line a little bit. I would highly suggest not going lower than 10, though. But all in all, I can see what they actually did with this. This set, they gave you a little bit of everything to coincide with the conditions that we're going to be fishing. The deeper fish, the offshore fish, and the ledge fish. I mean, this is all going to be targeting those fish. The deeper fish are obviously your 2 deep diving crankbaits. Here, your hunkered fish, you're going to be looking at your Axel and your Ned. Your offshore fish, you're going to be looking into, or sorry, not your offshore, but your ledge fish, you're going to be looking into the lipless crank and the Crush 100, and you'll also bring that catwalk into play on those fish that are sitting in those 3 foot or less waters, where you think you're going to be able to get a good solid topwater bite. All in all, a really well-rounded sack. Probably my favorite out of all of them, though, is this little Crush. This little Crush in the baby crappie is just awesome. That is really, really wicked. Guys, if you enjoy the box openings and stuff like that, I would love for you to leave a like and a subscribe on the channel. We're slowly building towards that 100 subscribers. I would really appreciate any support that you could give. I will be doing these box openings, as always, every single month. And I'm going to have some live fishing content for you very, very soon. I had intended to actually put out a live fishing content video as my next video, but lo and behold, this actually showed up on time, so you know me, I got to open new tackle. Anyway, that's pretty much all I got for you right now. If you have any questions or anything like that, leave them down in the comments. I'll be more than happy to reply to you. I love getting feedback from everybody, and I love answering your questions if you have any questions at all. But until next time, that's all I got for you. And as always, guys, keep your heads above the water. Take care.